The couple here are being pursued aggressively by some entity that wants them to end, and they are powerless to fight it, and all they think they can do is hide from it and believe that their love is stronger. And the gag is that they aren't.
That's the gag. And the gag is revealed.
We take a number of Taylor Swift songs from throughout her discography and see what we can link together by doing a sentiment, a lyric analysis of the themes present.
I have normal fights with my boyfriend that paralyze me. That's what she's saying.
That's Taylor. That's literally Taylor. I have normal fights with my boyfriend that paralyze me. Welcome back to Evolution of a Snake. I'm Zach.
And I am Madeline.
And we're back with another episode of one of your favorite series that we do, which is called Sister Songs, where we take I don't think we've ever actually just done two. We take a number of Taylor Swift songs from throughout her discography and see what we can link together by doing a sentiment, a lyric analysis of the themes present. Madeline, what songs are we doing today?
So today we chose something that is pretty topical because we wanted to definitely put a little bit of a spotlight on Folklore, which many of you know, Folklore-versary. Folklore-versary mentioned. It is the Folklore-versary right here. Coming up tomorrow. It's the end of July. That means Folklore-versary. So we said, okay, let's focus on Folklore. What's one of the most interesting things that goes on Folklore? Lies, deceit, fakery, obfuscation, betrayal, etc., etc. So we decided to kind of think about what songs on Folklore have been revealed to be true about real experiences. So we decided to focus on a Jill Alwyn kind of memento, and then we tied them to other songs in her discography. So walk with me. Peace, False God, Hoax, and So Long London. Anybody know those songs?
I have to say that Madeline is the maestro of cooking up the combinations. She gives them to me and I say, all right, now I'm going to take my Vyvanse, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do math. When I do my notes for the script, I lock in for like 2 hours and I word vomit. I look at the lyrics, I listen to the songs, and something comes over me.
Me too. No, seriously, this one, my notes are always kind of like weird and disorganized. This time, we're just going to be spitting. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about. This is going to be...
This could be a situation where Madeline and I are speaking in different languages, but walk with us because you know what? That's what makes it interesting. Before we get into it, however, it simply must be said that we're going on tour and we are 94% sold out in both cities. So by the time we mention this, it could be sold out. But if it's not, you better go and get your damn tickets. We're coming to Dublin and London on the 4th and the 8th of September. You can get tickets at evolutionofsnake.com. We would love to see you there, period. Before we get any further into today's episode, we want to say a huge thank you to SeatGeek, who is helping us never have to bother with a pre-sale ever again. It's a nightmare.
That's why we use SeatGeek. The #1 rated ticketing app with over 28 million downloads. They've got concerts, sports, festivals, you name it.
We got our Eras Tour tickets there. Real seats, great price, and no scam energy.
Green dot means good deal, and red dot means pitbull behind a pole.
Use code SNAKE10 for 10% off your next order. The link is in the description. Thank you again so much to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's episode. So I wrote a little overview of the songs. Maybe I could start that and we can see if we picked up on the same things, if we got the same vibes. Something that I think permeates all of these songs is a sense of danger. There's a fatality there. It's a feeling of having just dodged a bullet or of always being on trial. The two people that are presented in these songs, and I think it should be clear off the top, we always forget to say this, but we're not analyzing Joe and Taylor, the people. We're analyzing Joe and Taylor, the characters in the songs. So this is subjective. It is our interpretation of Taylor's interpretation. We're not claiming to be definitive sources or knowers of literally anything. Okay. So I forgot to say that. Let's just say that. But the couple here are being pursued aggressively by some entity that wants them to end, and they are powerless to fight it, and all they think they can do is hide from it and believe that their love is stronger than this thing's desire to destroy them. And the gag is that they aren't.
That's the gag. And the gag is revealed. The gag has been revealed many times over. I feel like the gag was clear to me many times over. But it really
So Long
gagged.
London was like almost unnecessary because once we had You're Losing Me, it was like everything clicked. I love So Long London and it confirms things, but it doesn't actually really reveal anything new. So the thing that is pursuing them and trying to destroy them, I think takes different forms. It can manifest as a literal other, an infidelity that is hinted at multiple times. We can't ignore that. But I also think you could look at it as her fame and her notoriety. That could be the thing that is destroying them, that she's trying to outrun, or his reluctance to accept that her star is bigger than his. It's like a personality trait of their relationship that they have this, I guess, conflict, but it's also animating. It's a little sexy. It's a little romantic. Us against the world. Inventing an op can really bring people together. It can't make a healthy relationship, but it can make a very insecure intimacy.
You know, it's funny that you just said that because lest we forget, if we want to speak in tongues, Mad Woman, it's really clear that Wanting Me Dead has really brought you two together. I mean,
it's true.
These things are universal. Folklore, it truly is folklore, and it reaches across the continental divides. It does. It's Pangea.
It's bipartisan. It
Folklore
reaches across the aisle.
It does. It does. So I have these songs kind of arranged. I kind of thought of them as sort of like a almost chronological. So I have them arranged from while we're in the relationship and I'm having anxieties and fears about all the reasons you might want to leave me or this might not work because of things that have happened to me in the past. Not necessarily anything that he's actively doing. Obviously, I'm talking about peace. And then from there, we go into instances where the relationship actually starts breaking down and confirming her worst fears. I'm talking about False God, and I'm definitely talking about Hoax. And then last but not least, we have to bring up the final nail in the coffin. So Long London. So I kind of thought of them as like a full piece of a story. And what's really interesting about, and we were talking about this a little bit the other night, how Joe and Taylor, their characters in the songs, can really be chronicled in a million different ways. And you can bring in so many different songs and you can look at it from so many different angles because she chronicled it. She was scribbling everything that happened. Even when she was kind of putting the shroud over things in Folklore and in Evermore, now with hindsight, we can look back and we can kind of really see the cracks in the infrastructure so clearly. And when I listen to False God now, I'm like, you're big dumb.
It's over.
You're big stupid. Like,
yeah. My chronology, interesting that we have different chronologies. So I kind of went False God, Hoax, Peace, and So Long London. Because to me, chronologically, False God is where it literally starts. So
interesting.
I kind of put it there. But I can see what you mean in that like Peace is active. It's like in the middle of the relationship.
And Folklore, if we're talking about like literal chronology, Folklore, I think was definitely a time, again, characters, these are fake people, but it was definitely a time when they were sort of making the relationship work based on like new obstacles in a new situation because of the pandemic and because they were in such close quarters and they were sort of like figuring out how to exist that way. But it was very similar to the way they were existing during Reputation when it was the honeymoon phase. So they got to kind of do this mini return to what they were the most comfortable with, which is hiding away, not really seeing anybody, you know, being tucked away in the woods somewhere, going to the lakes, et cetera, et cetera. They got to kind of like relive that after, I guess you could say, something that is referenced in Hoax or in False God or in Death by a Thousand Cuts, whatever song you want to choose.
Would it have lasted without the pandemic? I'm going to go ahead and say no.
I don't think so either, but we have to some extent, cheer because we got Folklore Evermore.
We did. And I have to say also, Taylor was being extraordinarily delusional about this situation. Like there were signs from the start that they were fundamentally in their characters incompatible. False God is the best example of this. Like they have completely different communication styles and there's no way that was going to be a sustainable or a tenable force. Could we start with False God? Is that okay?
Yeah. Let's cook her.
Let's cook her. It's always so extreme with these crazy kids. Crazy to think that this could work. Remember how I said I'd die for you? Okay, relax. Enough with the I'd die for you. And then also we were stupid to jump in the ocean, separating us. Remember how I'd fly to you? Instantly, you're setting this situation up at the very beginning as something that shouldn't happen. Like this, nobody wants this to happen, but we can overcome it. And let me ask the audience.
They're always trying to overcome something. I would like to say
Always.
something to the humble people listening to Evolution of a Snake today. If your relationship constantly feels like one of those Instagram posts where the girl's going, well, we've had a lot of ups and downs lately, and we've tried to choke me, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. We need to evacuate. The False God is literally the we've had a lot of ups and downs Instagram post on Valentine's Day.
It is. And Joe's thing, it seems to be, again, as the character, is to shut down and to stonewall, not only to express his emotional discomfort, but also as like a tool to punish his partner. So she says, I can't talk to you when you're like this, staring out the window like I'm not your favorite town. She's taking this shutting down as a sign for her to be more forward, to be the person that can overcome the Cascade Ocean Wave blues, if you will. I'm everything to you. I'm the greatest fucking city in the world. And you know what? Taylor Swift is New York City to me. She is, for so many reasons.
I agree. And the fact that he wasn't into the New York City of it all, whatever she means metaphorically by that, he needs help. He needs help. It's tastelessness. I think that False God is kind of like a treacherous in another font, a much less, in my opinion, it's a far like sexier, darker, more sinister, treacherous. I think that False God is kind of about where they're really starting to argue for the first time in the relationship, when the honeymoon phase is over and reality is setting in. And honestly, I think False God is a little bit bogged down by metaphor. You kind of have to dig through all of the, excess noise in the song to get to the main point. But I do think that the main takeaway from the song is the first line, which is, we were crazy to think that this could work. Yeah, I'd say that.
Why don't we listen to that? Why don't we listen to that instinct?
Listen to that. And it's a really sad reality of life, I think, that right person, wrong time can really happen. And maybe in some other universe where she's not Taylor Swift and he's not obsessed with his private life and this, that, and the other thing, they could have made it work. I think it's right person, wrong lifetime. I think that's really how she might have started to think of it towards the end. But at other points in the discography, she speaks about the relationship as though they were meant to find one another. She's always kind of talking like invisible string, all the girls you loved before. But at the same time, these instances where she says that are not separate from times she's saying like we're insane to think that this is ever going to work. So the question I would have for her is, how can something that she sometimes thinks was fate and written in the stars also be something that seems to constantly be balancing on the edge of a knife? And that's kind of what I think False God is really about. It's like the belief that she had that they were meant to be together and meant to find one another. That belief is a false belief. And yet I continue to believe in it, sort of like a hoax.
A faithless love. All right, divas, here's the good news. The pop girlies are going on tour this year. Sabrina Carpenter, Addison Rae, Lorde. However, everything is sold out. I don't even bother with pre-sales anymore personally because it's too much of a hassle and I don't have the time.
Personally flirting with another impromptu jaunt to see the diva Addison Rae. Of course, her album totally gagged me and I would really like to go see her. But because the whole tour is sold out, I wouldn't be able to do it without today's sponsor, SeatGeek.
If you don't know, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app and it has over 28 million downloads. It's literally the first place I check when someone announces a tour.
They've got everything. Concerts, festivals, even sports. I was just scrolling the other day and saw tickets for Hozier, Kali Uchis, Coldplay, and even Katy Perry. And you should be going to see her because she needs the coin.
Real talk though, we've actually used SeatGeek before ourselves personally numerous times. That's where we got our Eras Tour tickets and it was totally legit. No scams, no weird bots, just great seats at a better price from what we found on other resale sites.
And the app is so easy to use. Every ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know that you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means go, and red means do not pay $600 to see Pitbull from behind a pole.
And also, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, so if something does go sideways, they've got you.
So get out of your house, treat yourself, go scream along to Gracie Abrams or Coldplay or whoever your parasocial comfort artist is.
Use code SNAKE10 for 10% off your next order at SeatGeek. Again, that's SNAKE10 for 10% off. Click the link in our episode description, download the SeatGeek app, and we'll see you at a show soon, maybe.
If
a
you
faithless love. I mean, also blind faith is something that gets mentioned multiple times in False God. And the chorus, I think, betrays Taylor's delusion about this situation. Again, it's that reputation. Like there's internal and external obstacles to their relationship dynamic, but with blind faith, they are the only couple in the world that can overcome it. We might just get away with it. Religion's in your lips. Even if it's a false god, we'd still worship it. It's actually not good to worship your partner or to worship your love. It's not a very empowering position to put yourself in. We see this in Peace later on. Your integrity makes me feel small. You can absolutely still be very committed and devoted to someone without worshiping them. Taylor Swift loves idolatry. We found it here.
We found it here. She does really love to play with the idea of religion in romantic instances. I think it's really interesting. False God is one of the most bizarro songs. I don't usually visit her. This was kind of a fun exercise for me because when I listen to it, it's background noise to me. I'm not sitting there, I'm not parsing it, I'm not dissecting it. Mason really likes it. I'll tell you that for free.
Yes.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you why in a million years. Mason loves False God. It's just vibey, I think, to him. And I think it's kind of vibey too. This was a really fun exercise because I got to really go in and like pick at it. And it's weird. She's doing weird stuff. And the weirdest thing about it all is that in 2019, that dark August day in 2019, I sat down on my blanket and I pressed play on False God. And I said, and what do you want me to do about that? I couldn't have deciphered that in 2019 if it was a bomb that was about to go off and I had to save everybody. No. I could not decipher this song back then. I didn't like it because of that. I could not figure her out because at the time we were so... It was hard for me to imagine how horrible things would soon become.
I was wondering if you were going to land that. Yes. Well, yes. I mean, the thing about Lover that's so funny is that there are multiple instances of cries for help. It's like False God, Cornelia Street is actually not a very romantic song. You really listen to it. Afterglow, Death by a Thousand Cuts. Girl, get up. False God.
And then she had to be telling us it's all a lie. She said, it's all a lie. None of it's real. I made it up.
I watched a movie once.
Yeah, I watched a movie once.
She continued doing that.
And you know what? I do believe that she has written from empathy. For the record, I do believe that some songs on Folklore and Evermore are made up. I do believe that some of them are. They are based on, or something that happened to her in the past that she's drawing inspiration from, etc., etc. But I would like to say, Death by a Thousand Cuts, I do not believe, firmly, I do not believe
what we know now
is one such occasion that she watched a Gina Rodriguez movie and said, yeah, people didn't like it. It was a bad movie.
People didn't like it. And also you see how Death by a Thousand Cuts is an extremely New York coded song. And I'm the West Village. I'm New York City. Hello, Cornelia Street. Hello. All the alarms are pointing towards Jover. And yet we didn't notice it. We were still surprised when they broke up.
Well, she was telling herself it's so romantic that, you know, this love is like this. And I think it's really interesting that she said it was going to be Golden Lake Daylight. From what I'm hearing, it was more like it was Burning Red.
Yeah, well, less than that even. It was dark. It was dark blue all alone. You were pacing around in your pen until your friends found friends who cared. Like, it was not a fun time for you.
No.
I think also more moments in this song. I know heaven's a thing. I go there when you touch me. Hell is when I fight with you. We can patch it up good, make confessions, and we're begging for forgiveness. Got the wine for you. Again, something religious here about, like, you know, saying your sins aloud will absolve you of them. And then we drink, girls. Inside thoughts. What are you having to confess? Like, what secrets are you withholding at the very start of your relationship from each other? What could it be?
Well, she's talking about she's going to the supersized Kool-Aid bowl down in Jonestown. She's drinking the Kool-Aid. The wine is the Kool-Aid. Let's just drink up the wine. Let's sip the Kool-Aid and pretend like everything is okay. The closer you look at this song, the less romantic and less sexy it becomes. Like, this is delusional to a level I didn't think was possible. And I never noticed.
This is like one of those TikToks where a girl is forcing her boyfriend to make a TikTok with her, and all the comments are like, your boyfriend hates you. Your boyfriend hates you. It's crazy that you can't see it. And she's like, I love my boyfriend. And he's like clearly wanting to die inside. That's literally Taylor. But also, again, with Cornelia Street, you had to threaten to leave. You had to get in your car and go before he would even say, actually, I like you. This is not good. You shouldn't have to, like, threaten and make ultimatums all the time, which I feel like is what she ended up having to do. And then she followed through on her ultimatum eventually.
I think there was something like so, like, toxically that she was obsessed with this like back and forth, the constant back and forth. He doesn't want me. Oh, yes, he does. Oh, wait. No, no. And like these big, like emotional climaxes that they were constantly having where they would have to come back together. She, like, which she says, and so it goes. We break down a little and then we come back together. And it's like so good when it's like this. When it's like this, it's hell on earth. You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember in Real Housewives of Orange County when Shannon Bedore's like, I have normal fights with my boyfriend that paralyze me? That's what she's saying.
That's Taylor. That's literally Taylor. I have normal fights with my boyfriend that paralyze me.
That's not normal.
That should be the title of the episode. I have normal thoughts with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not normal.
I would love to move on to Hoax, if you don't mind. Would that be all right? Or do you want to go to Peace? We can do Peace first as well.
Okay, let's do Peace first, and then we can do Hoax.
Period. I think it's interesting that Peace and Hoax are sequenced one after the other. It's
insane. No, and what you really have to do, you have to go Peace, Hoax, the Lakes.
Oh. The Lakes makes such little sense coming after Hoax, and yet it makes perfect sense.
It made sense to her, I'll say that much. I love Hoax as the album closer, I really do, but we have to open the case. Peace directly into Hoax was a cry for help.
She was saying it. She was saying it. No. There's no mystery. Well, I mean, there's a lot of mystery in Hoax, but there's no like characters being drawn on these songs. These are just kind of Taylor Swift songs. They're not folklore. It isn't Betty. It isn't August. It isn't Cardigan. These are completely autobiographical. In my head, Peace comes after Hoax from an emotional chronology. Like Hoax is the thing that almost breaks her, and Peace is her really trying to keep it together afterwards.
My spine's like, slipping, carrying us up the hill. My spine.
I can forgive you and move on, but can you accept what I do?
No. And the answer is no, by the way. The answer is no.
She kind of starts by acknowledging they're out of the woods, as in this thing that has been pursuing them is kind of at rest or on pause. I think that's the pandemic, honestly. Like the paparazzi being famous, like that's all gone away, but it will come back and they're just catching their breath. Our coming of age has come and gone. Suddenly the summer is clear. I never had the courage of my convictions. As long as danger is near, it's around the corner and it lives in me. For a lot of the time, I interpreted this only as fame or her persona overwhelming their relationship, but I also think there's something there about her personality being too much for him. She's like a very earnest, extroverted, sincere person. And with love, he seems like none of those things. Their sensibilities are at odds.
They just weren't really gelling. It was kind of like oil and water. And I do think that there's some, people always talk about like, black cat girlfriend or black cat boyfriend, and then golden retriever boyfriend or golden retriever girlfriend or what have you. That is something that is like a real thing, but at the same time, it's like this is more of like a fundamental state of being. You can boil it down to black cat and golden retriever all you want, but it's not really like there's actually so much more to it. He was like diametrically opposed to being as famous as she was and being in the limelight. You can't be opposed to being in the limelight and having your private life dissected when you're dating Taylor Swift. Like that's not a possibility. And yet they kept trying over and over and over again. And I think she really internalized that being her fault. Whatever it was, it lives in me. It's my fault. It's my fault. And she really doesn't lay any blame on him whatsoever in the song. Not that I'm even necessarily saying that there should be or something like that, but I'm just saying she's deeply like, I always get a sense of like guilt in the way that she says it too. It lives in me. The way that she says it sounds so guilty. Like I have to feel bad for essentially ruining your life or making your life a way that you don't really like it to be, which I think is like, it's really sad. It's really sad.
And also what's also sad about this song to me is that she's like trying to sell herself to him. She's like making a good case for, okay, I can't give you this one thing that you want, but here are all the other things I can do. Here's what I can offer you. A fire to keep your brittle heart warm when your Cascade Ocean waves blues come. Even though I can't talk to you when you're like this, even though I can't pull you out of yourself and you won't communicate with me and tell me what's going on, that's renegade tea. I can be there and I won't leave you. I'll stand with you. I'll be with you even when you're having the worst day of your life. The devil's in the details, but you got a friend in me. Our life might be inconvenient and imperfect, but I'm here. You got me. Isn't that a prize? But she herself is unsure if she is a prize.
And I've got news for you, Taylor. You are a prize. I have been having a blast rooting for the antihero. I've been telling you that for years. But my favorite thing about Peace is that it's like a mirror image of Delicate, but Delicate is at the same time so different. Delicate has that like excitement in it almost, and like there's a part of it where it's new, and she's like, maybe we can make this work. Maybe this is gonna be good, but this ain't for the best. This literally ain't for the best. And I think she's kind of expressing that same feeling on Peace. Actually, I think that Delicate is Peace's like closest sister song. Can someone remind me, did we not do a Peace Delicate the Archer sister songs episode? Is that a thing? Did that
done
happen?
Peace before? I think we've done Peace before.
I feel like we did it, but Peace and Delicate are sort of the exact same song. And what I would take away from that is that pretty much throughout their entire relationship, she had these exact same fears, and they never actually went away. On every relationship that's about that particular relationship at all, she's mentioning these fears. She talks about on Reputation, on Lover, on Folklore, on Midnight, even on Tortured Poets. She's still mentioning it. She's like perpetually living in the state of unsurety in her relationship because, and we can definitely surmise this being the case, she knows he hates it. She knows that he hates this kind of attention. Yeah, he hates that people take pictures of them and that people try to infiltrate their relationship. And it doesn't really feel, of course, to me as an outsider, that he ever really did very much to assure her that none of that mattered. It always feels like in many of these songs, she's either assuring him that it can all be okay, or she's in fact herself begging for some assurance herself that it will be okay. But she has to assure him, all these people think love's for show, but I would die for you in secret. That's what she has to tell him to get him to see that this is real and this is really how she feels. Because that line always gives me like, do you think that all of this is bullshit? Like, do you really think this is all just for an album?
My purse? You're my accessory? That's not true. Look how I've accommodated and changed my life. I'm writing fictionally to try and protect you from this. If I had to describe the dissolution of their relationship in one word, it would literally be stalemate. You can't accept this about me. I can't change it. And therefore, we're like running up against a wall over and over again. After she tries to like sell herself to him, then she is talking about the things that she likes about him, which strikes to me as interesting. Your integrity makes me feel small. You paint dreamscapes on the wall. So I think she believes that Joe has a very rich interior life that she doesn't have access to. And, you know, she also thinks that still waters run deep. And there is some holy potion at the bottom of this well where his real emotions live. And if only he lets her in, she can drink the potion and become his perfect partner. But he's never letting you in, diva. And the part about this that feels like red flag to me is when she's like, she feels guilty for talking with her friends. Girl, speak. The silence and the privacy is what killed this relationship. She speaks about that isolation a lot on Midnight, specifically on Dear Reader. My friends found friends who cared. She distanced herself from them so as not to let them know what was really going on in her relationship, because she was trying to protect that well, that still water that Joe is very hesitant to unleash to anyone, let alone like peripheral people, fame, the public. So she just started shutting up. And you can't repress things like that. They come out. What if he's written mine on my upper thigh?
See, that's what happens. That's what you get. Let that be a lesson to everybody. All you gentle listeners, Evolution of Snake. Let that be a lesson to you. If you try to force it, eventually he will be writing mine on your upper thigh, only in your mind. And there's nothing you can do about it. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Theory, but not if you force it to be.
I do really think that Joe and Taylor did really love one another, which is why they fought so hard to make it work for so long, even in spite of all the evidence they had that their lives were just like not compatible. But I think to answer her own question of how did it end, there was just one thing that both of them could not do for one another. Taylor could not change her life or stop her career or vanish into the lakes, and Joe could not accept that this was going to be how it was going to be. He couldn't accept it, and she couldn't accept that he couldn't accept it. So, I mean, how did it end? Answered.
Stalemate. That's what the album should be called. Stalemate.
Stalemate. Ooh, there's something
should
there.
Should we move on to Hoax?
Well, yeah. Hoax is kind of my girly pop. I love. Actually, this is a little bit teaser for the Lizard review. So I'm kind of, because we're going away and I'm going to be away. I planned everything. Mostly everything. There's some blank spots, but on October 3rd, I'm doing Hoax Revisited. I already have a Hoax lyrical analysis. I think it's on Spotify. I'm gonna have to check that. If it's not, I should really put it up. But if you're interested, I do have a Hoax lyrical analysis on the Loser Review, and there will be another one on October 3rd on the Loser Review. October is just the perfect month for Hoax visitations. Also, I would like to say, and people know this because she did perform part of it in Dublin. Dublin is a great place to go to scream off the cliffs. We knew that.
Well, actually, Dublin specifically isn't, because there aren't any cliffs in Dublin, but Ireland is.
Period. There's cliffs. And
There's
I think
cliffs.
we should open the case.
And you
Hoax
can
is
throw
my
yourself
favorite
onto
Rubik's
the
Cube.
rocks. You shouldn't.
I will be. Hoax is my favorite Rubik's Cube because to me it's
deeply dark and depressing song.
Yeah. It's purposefully written in metaphor to keep people from solving it. I think even though we know about Jover and we can kind of go in and see the path that led to Jover in her songs and see the suggestions that it wasn't all paradise and it wasn't all perfect, Hoax is one of those songs that still kind of remains shrouded in mystery. And it's really one that we can only speculate upon. But to me, Hoax is about betrayal, plain and simple. And I don't think just one betrayal, to be fair. Like, I genuinely do not think Hoax is just about Joe. I think there's actually several moments in the song that directly call back to things she says in My Tears Ricochet, which is, of course, about an entirely separate situation, but an entirely separate situation that also involves betrayal. I just think that Hoax is about the feeling of being betrayed by somebody that you trusted, by somebody that you let in, by someone who knew about all of your scars and what made them and how they got there. And that I think at the time she was writing the album was not just one person. I don't dare to speculate the specifics of what she's actually talking about in regards to Joe, but I will say that I believe very firmly that Hoax and the Great War are kind of about the same situation. The Great War is kind of a story of what happened, and Hoax is about how it felt when it happened. So I kind of uncovered that rock, and people can do with that information what they will, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
Found at the club she's heard great things about.
Open the case.
Let's open that up. I think that this is like the worst possible conclusion to the sexy mystery of false god. Like, they are very analogous in a way. I can't talk to you when you're like this, making confessions, begging for forgiveness. The entire song gives me, you just told me something that you withheld from me that completely alters the way that I view not only you, but also myself. And you are now making me miserable, but I'm stuck in this dynamic and I can't get out of it. Your faithless love's the only hoax I believe in. Don't want no other shade of blue but you. She's addicted to the cycle of like hurt, forgive, repeat. But she has now learned that there is a bridge too far. There is something that she can't come back from. And it's like the beginning of the real rot in their relationship. It doesn't sound like something that she can really forget. My winless fight, this has frozen my ground. It has stopped me in my tracks and changed my life.
And I think perhaps the line in the song that really drills home this is something that has absolutely rattled my foundations. In my opinion, the saddest line in any Taylor Swift song ever, you have beaten my heart.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's what makes Taylor Swift Taylor Swift. It's the ability to throw caution to the wind and put her heart on her sleeve and dive headfirst into relationships and into love, even if it's a bad idea, like she talks about in False God, in Treacherous, in Peace, and Torture Poets, and I Knew You Were Trouble, on and on and on and on. This is a core tenet of like what makes her herself, what makes her the artist that she is, what makes her the writer that she is. It's that she opens herself and her heart up all the time, again and again, and it's been bruised before for sure. And we all know that because we've heard the stories. So for her to say, you have beaten my heart, you have finished it. This was a love I believed in so much with all my heart that to see you so flippantly screw with it like this is like the final boss to me. You destroyed it. You are the one who has finally ended my ability to love like that, is the way that I read that line. So after all these years, me being Taylor Swift, me loving with all my heart, me being so open to the possibility of love, you are the one. This situation, whatever it is the one that has finally broken me. This is almost one of the last lines on the album, is you have beaten my heart. I think we need to open the case.
For someone that's known for basically having the most regenerative broken heart in history, to say you have beaten my heart, like she has had her heart broken at this point in so many different ways, shapes or forms. She's become known as the heartbreak chronicler. You have beaten my heart is you have taken my ability to love again away from me, is what she's intimating, I think. And that is, but also in a way, You've beaten my heart so bad that I can only love you. No other sadness in the world will do. I'm now resigned to you because you did this to me. There is also something about trickery and lying and obfuscation in Hoax. Your sleight of hand, my barren land, I am ash from your fire. Whatever this wrong was, it was intentionally designed to hurt the narrator as much as possible, despite the person who is inflicting this hurt knowing exactly what and why they're doing it. You knew it still hurts underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart, but what you did was just as dark. I think here, my guess for this would be that she's referencing the most painful thing she's experienced to date, which is being summarily canceled and thinking that her life is over, being so low she thought she would have to give up everything sacred to her. So how can what you did be worse than that? What did you do?
Well, we would like to know. And
You
for your
have
answers,
beaten my heart.
Again, we have to turn to the Great War. We have to look at her, and we have to. I don't like to look at her because I'm not always press and play, but the information's there. Unfortunately, I mean,
And also London too.
I
It's there
found
as
at the
well.
club she heard great things about. Maybe it was her. You have beaten my heart. I mean, people would like to know. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. But at the end of the day, you know what I really think? We have been told. We have been
We've been told. No, we know.
informed.
I don't need
We
any
do.
more information. I like to have a little bit of, well, we need something to pick apart, don't we? The vultures. We need to pick apart on this carcass. There's nothing there if we know what happened.
There's nothing there if we know what happened. So, I mean, there you go. But False God and Hoax actually share way more DNA than I ever previously realized. It's actually kind of crazy.
They
The
really
False
do.
God that she speaks of is actually the faithless love. That's the only hoax that she believes in. I think, and I talked about this before when we were talking about False God, she's like addicted to it. She doesn't want any other shade of blue but him. No other sadness in the world would do. That line actually reminds me a lot of and would have, could have, should have when she says, and the God's honest truth is that the pain was heaven. This kind of pain, this intensity, this chaos, I think she really found herself like addicted to that back and forth. If we remember, this was the woman who said love is burning red, even if she tried to force herself to walk it back. We know the truth. This is the woman who said, I miss screaming and fighting and kissing in the rain. This is the woman who pined after a walking disaster for 10 straight years. There's something about that chaos and that particular kind of pain that I think she like chases after. She still calls him her only one. In the same breath that she says, my kingdom come undone, you have beaten my heart, she says, my only one. This obsession she has with this relationship is burning down her kingdom that she has spent years building, and she still says, you are my only one. There's something to that. I think there's like a part of her that's like this kind of like frantic, it's always going so crazy, and we're always like balancing on the edge of a knife. Something about that is very romantic to her.
She likes it. She likes it. And I also think she likes burning it down and starting over. I think she's kind of addicted to being like, that's not me anymore. I'm new. I'm different now, and I'm moving on. And here, a part where I thought that really said that well in this song is, I left a part of me back in New York. Here comes New York again. She conquered the difficulty, literally, of the ocean separating them by uprooting her life and moving to be with him. And even though she is New York, it's not just that she lived there. Like, New York is her. She is, to me, most herself when she's in New York City. And it seems like this means something bad to her, leaving a part of herself back in New York. But it's also something that she has to conquer and move on from. But it's also something that she wants and she misses. It's like she's losing a part of herself, the very small part of herself that she kept in the transformation of becoming whoever Joe wanted her to be.
Yeah, I definitely think she was going through this time period where she was saying, I need to become the perfect girly. I left behind that crazy cuckoo Bleachella. I left her behind in the streets of New York, and I left her behind for you. I changed my life for you. And like she says in So Long London, I moved to the Heath for you, and you left me here. So let's open that case up and let's talk about that, because you knew what I did for you to be here. And this is how you repay me. Personally, I'm saying this is like, Hoax is like Taylor's Lemonade. How do we come back from this? How do we come back? I don't know how she did it. I don't know how Beyonce did it. I don't understand that. That's not for me. I'm proud of these women, these strong women who said, I forgive. It couldn't be me. It couldn't be me.
No. Something I think Taylor really delayed for a long time as well was leaning into her rage. And the only song that is very rageful of these sister songs that we're talking about is So Long London. She's pissed. Like she's fully, this is her like, I'm done. I'm wiping my hands clean of this. And the song tells the whole story, like with no other context required. It on its own is rather profound. And her tone here is much less involved as well. She's detached. She's decided there is no future here. And I'm mad that I wasted my time trying to find one. The first verse is very revealing. She saw fairy lights through the mist once. There was once a point to all this suffering. I could see something bright in the future, but now because of that, I was like, I'm going to soldier on. I'm going to keep calm. I'm going to carry the weight of the rift. I'm going to pull you closer when you're drifting away because I see it. I see the destination. And then she realized she was doing it all by herself. My spine split from carrying us up the hill, wet through my clothes, weary bones called to chill. I stopped trying to make him laugh, stopped trying to drill the safe. I can't talk to you when you're like this. I can't talk to you when you're like this. Stop shutting me out when the Cascade ocean waves blue come. I can help you, but you won't let me, so I give up.
Exactly. And the thing that makes So Long London is that it's exactly like what you said at the beginning of the episode. We already knew all this. We already knew everything she says. You already told us everything that she says, especially in the first verse. You already told us that in so many words. She told us that in Peace. She told us that she kept pulling him in closer when she felt him going away. She told us that in False God. She told us that she felt that rift and carried it and convinced herself it was sexy even. And she put a saxophone over it to convince us that it was sexy, but it wasn't. And she told us in Hoax in so many words that she was literally going down with the ship and how scared she was of a love affair when she said, "You have beaten my heart." She told us all of this shit.
So Long London makes me angry. I get mad when I hear this song because I'm like, you did waste your time thinking how much sad did I have in me. You have beaten my heart. I can't take it anymore. You took me for granted. You thought that I would stay forever regardless. You thought that I would keep trying to drill this safe of yours. And despite you making zero efforts to open it up, well, guess what? I'm out. And don't you dare try to say that I midnight rained on you because the writing was on the wall, diva. I didn't opt in to be your odd man out is a fantastic bar.
Yeah, and PMO me too. PMO. Honestly, most of the time, there's so many songs on Torture Poets where I listen to them and I'm like, what? Even though I've heard them like a million times, I'm like, are you kidding me? This happened? Every time I listen to So Long London, I'm like, I cannot believe, and I'm pissed off you let me give you all that youth for free for so long in London. What were you thinking? There goes my 20s. Anne Boleyn said the same thing, just so you know.
Everybody wants to say like, oh, Joe got off on Torture Poets like nothing is about. I was like, girls, he didn't get off free. Did you hear So Long London? He's dead. He died. It's over. And I think there's a real sense of grief here too, like for her, for the fairy lights in the mist, the future she thought they had, for the version of herself that she forced herself to become. And I think the saddest thing is that she feels left out when she's with him, just the two of them, because he's that closed off to her emotionally. I left all I knew. You left me at the house by the heath. I literally uprooted everything. I changed my value system. I isolated my friends. I compromised on my professional goals for you. And you have the nerve to leave me alone in this house and go out and do whatever you want. And there's infidelity here. I founded the club she's heard great things about. And then she just goes on to describe about how she gave up. Eventually her gas ran out. I stopped CPR. It's no use. The spirit was gone. We've never come to. I actually don't want this anymore. There's nothing here to fight for. We're just fighting.
Exactly. There's nothing there. I give up. And you know that she was spending the whole relationship literally doing CPR because she's written about it a million times. What do you think was happening in Renegade? CPR. She was literally begging and pleading for him to open the shade.
Get your together so I can love you.
Which isn't even to mention the bridge of the song. To me, you swear that you love me, but where were the clues? I died on the altar waiting for the proof. You sacrifice us to the gods of your bluest days. That's it. Whole relationship summed up 20 words or less. That's it.
It's over. It really is over. You
swore that you loved me, and yet I was constantly searching for evidence of it. And it's not even just about a ring. It's not just about a ring. Like, it really isn't. It's about a lot of different things. You refused to marry me because you knew the reality that I would never give you peace, that perhaps indeed this love was faithless and a false god, and you sacrificed us to the gods of your bluest days. Well, I convinced myself that I was in love with your bluest days and that there was something romantic about them. And I didn't want my days to be any other color than your shade of blue. I deluded myself into thinking that, and I put a saxophone over it.
Grays and blues and fights and tunnels. I mean, really,
The proof is in the pudding.
it was not a good situation.
No.
Another line building off of that. You say I abandoned the ship, but I was going down with it, my white knuckle dying grip holding tight to your quiet resentment. I think he would have stayed in that relationship forever, just in that classic, like, stiff upper lip British way where you just kind of silently resent your partner and you begin to live separate lives. And she was like, that's not me. I'm not doing that. Taylor loves love. She can't be in this kind of like dull, gray hospital. She can't be in this kind of condition. And she was also trying to shoulder not only her worries about their relationship, but also his too. Why am I doing the labor of having to worry about whether I'm good enough for you, on top of wondering if you even like me at all? What is the point of this? And then finally, she opens up to her friends and they say, girls, it isn't right to be scared every day of a love affair. This is dire straits. And they're right. Relationships can be difficult, but they should not always feel like work. And you shouldn't be afraid to express yourself or be yourself too much in the fear of scaring someone away. Would it be enough if I could never give you peace? Guess what? I don't care. I'm out.
I literally could not care less. For her to say, when you're not sure if he wants to be there. Now, girl, how long were we in the relationship? We've been in here 6 years, and we don't know if he even wants to spend the weekend with you. You were saying, I want to run off to the lakes with you, la, la, la. But you don't even know if he wants to go. You
Say
don't
something.
Even know
I've
if
got
he wants to go.
Nothing to believe.
You're losing me. Oh, we should have wrote her in this too.
You know what? The terrorism of trying to deal with his silent indifference, every breath feels like rarest air. Rarest air. Imagine you're Taylor Swift. Imagine you've done all that you've done to make this work and you don't even have the satisfaction of feeling like, well, yes, I made these sacrifices and these changes for a good reason. How low did you think I'd go before I'd self-implode and have to go and be free? Here, to me, she's really astounded by the fact that he didn't know her well enough after all this time to anticipate this rupture. Where did we start? Nothing good starts in Getaway Car, babe. It might have been sudden, but it should not have been a surprise. My face was gray. We all know. He was committed to ignoring her feelings and also to not communicate his feelings. She can't hide and seek at the same time, babe. You gotta pick a struggle.
And that's like one of the main, again, stalemate, one of the main core tenets of relationship that just made it so difficult for it to work. She is somebody who's very emotive and she wears her heart on her sleeve and she'll tell you, this is how I'm feeling, XYZ. And he refused to do that. She
and then acts surprised.
Hated it.
Acts surprised. And I think it is interesting. The line that is really interesting to me is, you say I abandoned the ship. And it's like, girl, all of me didn't change like midnight rain in this scenario. You pushed me to the brink where I had to throw myself onto the rocks. I had to date Maddie Healy to get away from you. Do you understand the severity of that?
You don't even get it. You don't even see the full scope of it. And another thing, just to rope another sucker into this mess, if we have to talk about one thing, we do have to mention that she refers to him in How Did It End as a ghost. My beloved ghost and me. There's something very profound about that.
DGAF.
He's a ghost.
DGAF.
He's a ghost. But she loved him. I do believe it. She did love him. And
but where
she
were
was
the clues?
Ready to
Can you tell me?
I don't have them. That's the thing. I don't have them. None to be found. Like, we're out at the beach with a metal detector. Boop, boop, boop. None detected. No ring found.
I can't find a pulse.
Nope.
I'm just descending into like lyric.
Yeah, no. Well, because
that's how it always ends.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing about this timeline. Again, like I said at the top of the episode, it's chronicled. We could go on and on and on and on. It's very fun. Again, these are characters and songs. Oh, we love to go on and on. These are characters and songs. And it's laid out in such an interesting sort of like almost like a puzzle kind of a way. Puzzle pieces in the dead of night, if you will. There's so many words. So many words in the English language have been claimed by a Taylor Swift song that it puzzle pieces, London, Heath, etc., Camden.
I think, the lesson, I would conclude with a lesson for all of our listeners, which is a lesson that Taylor Swift learned and that you better learn before you waste 7 years of your life with an heirloom turkey. The sunk cost fallacy is a fallacy. just because you have invested a lot of time in something does not mean it needs to continue 1 minute longer when you are unhappy. I think she was like, damn, I've invested so much into this. I've written all these songs about it. I'm sure her perception of herself as a public figure was playing into her mind as well. She was like, well, if I just break up with him after writing Paper Rings, isn't that embarrassing? Well, yes. Well, yes, it is. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it anyway. She's mad. I loved this place. You ruined this for me. You took my youth and you wasted my time. And also you ruined a perfectly good city. So you know what? You're over. It's over.
Yeah, you're not allowed to ruin London. Oh, no, you can't do that. Not on my watch. You can't do that.
Made her more
it's
boring.
illegal.
He made her more boring.
But she said, lest we forget, she said, not on my watch. Best believe I'm still bejeweled when I walk in the room. I can still make the whole place shimmer. And what does he do when he walks into the room? The whole place goes.
He clears the room.
He clears
like a bad fart. Everybody leaves. Everybody leaves.
And that's on period.
And you know, she just did a lot of lying on Reputation. Knew he was a killer first time that I saw him. No, he's
Well,
like Eeyore. He walks into the room, everyone goes,
we found we can't deny
I'm just
that
a little black rain cloud.
The killer Trav knew he was a killer implications. It's been claimed. Somebody else has taken it away from him.
That's a killer.
Unfortunately, it is. And you guys just have to deal with it.
Well, I think that was a wonderful and productive episode of Sister Songs. What do you think, Madeline?
I thought it was amazing. And I want to say thank you guys so much for giving us the opportunity to descend into madness, as usual.
This is honestly the only, this is one of our Evolution of a Snake series where truly only we can be deranged enough to accomplish this level of delusion. We have just been doing Zodiac killer scrawls, and you love to hear it. And we love to give it to you. So patreon.com/Rechtologist and get your tickets to Evolution of a Snake live. Goodbye, divas.